Welcome to Level Check Roblox. This is a rapid review for a brand new game that has just come out called Wonderland. My content is focused on parents and caregivers and answering a simple question: is this game suitable for your child? I play through these games so that you don't have to, and then I'll give you the facts so you can decide if it's suitable. But with that, I should state that I am not endorsed by Roblox or the game developers to say anything specific, so what you hear from me is how I see things on a playtest as a parent to my own children. I think it's really important to spread awareness of games like this, so if you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up button, it just helps more people find this video. So let's dive straight into Wonderland, and the first thing you should know is that this has a maturity level of mild, which means it is accessible to anybody from the ages of 5 and up on Roblox. This game is kind of set out like a bit of a weird and wacky cartoon funhouse, though with a very dark undertone. Essentially what you have to do when you get into a game is run around this soft play centre, collecting these little fluorescent beings called lumens, which then, funnily enough, you are then going to feed to other NPCs in order to unlock an exit point, which will then take you off into another level. It sounds really simple, but there's a lot of dark stuff here that I think you would probably need to know if your child was looking at playing this game. As this is a rapid review, we're going to dive straight into the risk review, and if you're new here, my risk review runs on a 5-star system, with 0 stars being nothing or not present at all the way through to 5 stars being absolute maximum levels for concern. So we're going to start off with violence, and normally that would look at things like realism, combat, things that are going to be ultimately distressing, any essence of blood or gore, and I've gone with 3.5 stars, well, mostly really because of this cutscene when I was caught by this character called Alice, where I thought this was highly inappropriate and certainly not for the eyes of younger children. So this rating is less about the frequent combat or blood and gore elements that you would associate with violence, but more around the violence of the act itself. Going into psychological, I'm thinking about things that are going to cause real-world nightmares or lasting distress for children, and given that this can be accessed by 5-year-olds, I've had to go straight to the top here for 5 stars for maximum levels of psychological tension. The thing is, a lot of older children might not find these jump scares too bad, but some of them are absolutely terrifying for younger children, like this bunny one right here, or the realism of some of the things that are running at you. We're not talking about blocky avatars, we are talking about highly detailed models of things chasing you and the various effects that come with that, and there's a lot of dark tones here as well. That leads me on to emotional, and then here I'm thinking about things like the things that are going to create frustration, anger, or any kind of rage in this game, and I've gone for 3 stars here because ultimately it is designed to be played as a team, and with that you are kind of reliant on the skill and the ability of your teammates. Otherwise you might as well be playing it solo, and that becomes really quite difficult. The other element for this in terms of frustration is that the game can be quite difficult. Like, one of the boss levels was really quite difficult until I actually knew what I was doing. It was fast, it was frantic, and if you do lose all of your lives, then the only way of reviving is to pay via Robux, or you have to go all the way back to the start with a brand new team or on your own and play the whole thing again. So moving into the atmospheric part of this, I like to think about the culture of the game, what the community is like, what the in-game chats and things like that are like, and to be honest, I've gone with 3 stars here because I can already feel, despite it being a brand new game, there is lots of creeping elements of negativity. Even in my second game, I had somebody kicking off saying "stupid team" in the chat because they died and needed to revive themselves. So in all honesty, I think it's only a matter of time before this gets even worse. Moving on to the final area of financial, I've gone with 3 stars here, but this is less about the microtransactions transparency and more around the introduction of these mystery eggs that have a drop rate for some item that the utility of which is yet to be established. And although this is a brand new game, I think because it is accessible to all age groups, it is introducing that element of you go off and you play this game. If you're lucky enough, you might get one of these random mystery eggs dropped by a boss or a NPC character if you can get one from them. And ultimately, if you can't, then you can spend your gems on them, and if you don't have enough gems, then you can go ahead and spend Robux to buy more gems. So I feel like it already develops that sort of repeating cycle, but more so for me, because this is brand new, I think there'll be an element of FOMO or fear of missing out, and because all of these things run through on refreshes and quite short refresh times, I think there is that kind of urgency that you need to buy something quickly before it rotates out and you might not be able to get it again. So look, in summary, this game is shiny, it's brand new, people are flocking to it from all around, but is it suitable for your child? Well, the honest answer is if your child is aged between 5 and 11, from my parental review, I would say no, it is not. This game has some real serious dark stuff going on. There is a lot of nasty cutscenes. The jump scares can be just shy of terrifying if you're not expecting them. If a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old is playing this, I could really see some serious issues. So if a kid is more mature and, not exactly susceptible to being scared, then maybe. But I would be saying anybody potentially 11 plus to be playing this. When you put this on par with other games or even films out there that have got the kind of levels of realism of some of these Avatar things that are chasing you, this really isn't pitched at the right level. So whether that's a Roblox or a developer's issue, I really think that needs to be reviewed, with this being up to moderate. At least that way it puts it at 9 plus rather than risking at kids age 5 to 8 seeing this sort of stuff where it really is not suitable. I hope this review has been useful to you today. If it has, please do hit the thumbs up button. In fact, that's probably the most important thing out of all of this, because I do think people need to be aware that this title really isn't suitable for younger kids, but it is all badged up to look like some great funhouse. Now, on the flip side of that, if you do like these kind of videos and you think that they're useful, then please do subscribe to Level Check Roblox, where I make in-game parent reviews so that we can raise awareness of all the sorts of content that is over Roblox and whether it's suitable or not. Thanks so much for your time watching this, and I look forward to seeing you on one of my other reviews.